What's good, y'all? Welcome in to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Yesterday, I did have a positive day. Overall, it was 4-3, but I made my first and last MLB bets until playoffs yesterday. I'm not dealing with that. I usually do well in the playoffs. I didn't fight the long season, regular season grind last year, and I think I'm skipping it again this season after yesterday. I had the Pirates and I had the Mariners. So two losers in baseball. On the hardwood, I did go 4-1. The winners, or I'm sorry, let's start with the loser. The loser was the Grizzlies, and that was annoying. I mean, they were up at one point by I think 16. At the end of the game, they're down by 14, which is covering the 14 and a half that we took on the show. And they do a take foul with 22 seconds left. Why are you doing take fouls down 14? I mean, only one reason I can think of. So that was pretty annoying. But other than that, I mean, it was good. The under in the Hawks game was a winner. The Magic money line was a winner. We talked a little bit about the college game even on this show. UConn and under. I ended up taking both, and they were winners. So overall, good day. Try to keep it going here today. Unfortunately, we don't have Mr. Rob Veno, but hopefully he will be back tomorrow. Take a look at the chat before we get started. Do see some of my guys out there. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Glenn says best show in the game. Appreciate that. Joe says tough morning. Had a tire blowout. Let me see if the sports book can pay me for some new tires. Let's get it. Let's find a winner so we can not have to come out of your own pocket for it. I like that idea. Jose Perez in the building. My bad, Bruce. Did start a little bit later, even than usual here. Appreciate you guys. And Edge Money says, love the Kobe posters. Appreciate you. My guy Kobe, man, gone too soon. And last but not least, Chico Stick reminds everybody to hit the like button. It is free. Cost you nothing to hit the like button. And we're gonna break down some of these games, see if we can make some money. All right. What up, you capper? First, I'm not gonna go through every game today just because of what I've said before. I just don't have interest in capping every single game this last week of the season. A lot of these teams don't care, but some of them do. And I have interest in capping the ones that do. Heat and Raptors, that will be one here. Opened up -1.5 for the Heat. We've seen a flip of favorites. Now the Raptors -1.5. The total has slightly gone up from 239 as high as 240.5. And looking at the injury report, I feel like it's they're playing. It's tricky. Jovic has been ruled out. I saw Hero and Norman Powell available. Now I see Hero back down to probable. I don't like when I see them playing with the injury report like that. But for Toronto side, quickly, CMB and Mamu are all questionable. I mean, could be missing a lot there. Could be missing two bigs, missing a starting point guard. I mean, that's a lot for that Toronto side. This is a pretty important game. I'm going to pull it up just so I can be specific. Standings wise is what I'm talking about. You have the Raptors in the sixth spot, half a game from being in the play-in. They have three teams half a game behind them. As far as the Heat, they're in that 10th spot. They can still move up and try to get maybe some home court advantage in the play-in. So, I mean, it's important for both of these teams, is what I'm trying to say here. For the Heat, they did have 2 days off before this game, so they do have the rest advantage coming off of a beatdown again versus the Wizards. The Raptors coming off of a 14-point L versus Celtics. And my first thought here is the Raptors don't beat any good teams. Are the Heat a good team? I mean, they have a winning record. I just feel like the Raptors have been a team that's taking advantage of the less thans all year long. And a situation like this versus another winning team, like I just see them struggling again. I trust Eric Spoelstra more as a coach. I think the Heat can play better defense. I want to trust the Heat more in this game. And as far as the total, I feel like they're correlated. If the Heat are going to play their style, they're going to run and gun. It'll probably be a higher scoring game if they win. And if the Raptors win, probably be more with slower and defense. Even looking at the last 5 games, fifth in pace for this Miami Heat team. The defense, though, 27th. That's not something you would like to see. Don't like that. But lean Heat, lean over in this game. Only ways that I could look. And like I said, I think it could be a little bit of correlation between side and total. Take a look at the chat before we move on. Finally, free focus, thinking about Bam, PRA. Yeah, I mean, it could be down a couple bigs on the other side. I talk you off that. Anthony says both teams really going to care about this one. Give them the under. I hear you on that. It's tough. It's tough with the total. The thought process, I usually agree with. Let's see. I think that's it. Mark says Miami first half money line is what he took. All right. Hornets and Celtics is the next one that I'm sorry. That's not the next one I'm going to talk about. Next one I'm going to talk about is the Kings and Warriors. I will talk about that Celtics and Hornets game. I'm just not ready yet. But Kings and Warriors, this is one of the bigger point spreads that I wanted to talk about. Open 15 and a half, down to 14. Total open 234. Looks like 234 and a half. Looking at the injury report, we have DeMar DeRozan questionable, Keegan Murray and Westbrook both out. For the Warriors, LJ Cryer and Steph are both probable. Porzingis is questionable. You have Horford, Post, and Santos out for this Warriors team. You know, my initial thought before this line came out was, the Warriors, Steph didn't come back to be losing games, but I thought about it. I was like, they're probably going to put a 14-point spread out there. I literally said that to my friend yesterday, and here we are with that exact point spread. Um, I still have that same thought, and the Kings are absolutely capable of getting blown out. I don't like potentially missing, two bigs out there. Santos has been good for this team. I mean, you could potentially be missing three bigs. You could be missing all your bigs. I don't know. It starts to make it hard to trust the Warriors team. Maybe I pivot and look at a Warriors team total because I believe they can name their number versus Kings team. But at the same time, if Golden State is down all their bigs, Sacramento might be able to score too. So I think this is an over game. I mean, maybe a Warriors team total, but the reason I stayed off of the Warriors side is because the point spread came out too high, especially for the injury report. It's interesting that the Warriors have lost, they're on a losing streak and they're laying as big of a number. I think that shows how bad the Kings are. So I do only want to look towards that side, but something just does not feel right to do it. Team total over makes sense as capper, so that's probably the way that I would prefer. It's been a lot of minus 14 and a half covering solution, but I get, saying that for the Warriors in this spot. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going here. We'll talk about Rockets and Suns. And this one opened up Rockets -1. It flipped to Suns -1. Total open 218. It's up as high as 221 and a half. Looking at the injury report, Fred VanVleet is out. Highsmith is out for the Suns. First of a back-to-back for this Phoenix team. Let's just double check who they play tomorrow. They play the Mavericks. Not much to look ahead to. Everybody's beating on the Mavericks, but every game is important for the Suns. And on that note, let's take a look at the standings here. So for the Rockets, they're in that 5th spot, 1 game behind the Lakers, 1.5 games behind the Nuggets. If it stays right now, Rockets face a Lakers team if they start the playoffs today, and Lakers are really short-handed. I mean, Rockets can maybe move up and get the home court advantage, but no Luka, no Reeves. That's a matchup that I would want. I'm the Rockets. The Suns, they're in that 7th spot, 3 games behind the 6th spot, which is getting out of the play-in, 3 games in front of the Clippers. So really just playing for home court advantage here. Can still potentially move around, but just trying to keep that home court advantage mostly. When I look at these teams a little bit more, I mean, the Rockets have been playing good lately. They've won 6 games in a row. 5 of the 6 games have been versus non-playoff teams. I mean, the Rockets just beating up on the weak, right? I don't think the Rockets are that good, honestly. Now the Suns, they're not the greatest team, but they're healthy. They're at home. I don't mind the spots like we talked about yesterday. The spot for Orlando, 6 game and 9 nights, but Orlando needs the wins, right? Like I don't mind going against the typical spots. I know that Phoenix first game home off of a road trip, and it's the front of a back to back. I don't think it matters. Like I said, every game is important. They've played better at home as long as they've been healthy. And the Rockets, they only beat up on the weak. They don't beat up versus. They don't play well versus the good teams, especially on the road. So I think the Suns are the right side in this game. 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Kind of dying a little bit still. Need just a little water. Or had a cough attack. My bad. I had a cough attack, so I had to blank out for a second. All right, now I can breathe a little better. Last thing we're gonna talk about here, and you know what? Maybe I'll save that. I'll save that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it as the last bet, the best bet. So on that note, we will promo a little bit here before we give that best bet for the show. It is $5 Tuesday. So you can go to my page, you can go to Rob page, you can go anywhere on WagerTalk and find a best bet for just $5. It's a good way to check somebody out, see if you want to rock with them a little longer. Other promos we have still have the buy 3 get 3 free. Comes out to 6 days for just $69. A way to check somebody out for a little bit longer term. And if you like longer than that, you can get the all in for the year. Ultimate All Access Pass comes out to under $4 per day. And for example, if you were to, purchase that for me for a year, you'll get a 25% bonus coupon. You can go check out Rob Veno. You can also sign up for either one of us individually for the rest of the regular season and get the playoffs as well. You get the regular season free is what this says, only $199. But why do that? Well, you can get both Rob Veno and myself for the playoffs for $49 more. And Rob Veno won last year. We all know how good of a job Rob Veno does. Last year, I lost, like I talked about. But, you guys can see right here, even with the losing year last year in the playoffs, still number one, plus 145 units the last 3 years in the playoff. They call me playoff Skee around here. It's a good time to get involved. So if you would like to, that's the way to do it. Now, with that said, it's about that time.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Go back and look at that game that I brought up earlier, the Hornets and the Celtics. This one opened up with the 6.5 for Boston, all the way down to 4.5. There is still a 5 out there, so make sure you line shop. Who is available in this game? You do have Kobe White questionable. Other than that, Hornets healthy, Celtics healthy. Now you have a Celtics team who is in the second spot, about 2.5 games ahead of New York. Can't move up, can't get that number one spot anymore. And their next game is versus New York. So even if they win tonight, they still got to win tomorrow to be able to clinch that number 2 seed. If they lose tonight and win tomorrow, or not tomorrow, if they lose tonight and win the next game, they also clinch it. So this is not a very important game for them, is what I'm trying to get at. Especially not as important as it is for the Hornets. You look at this Hornets team, they're part of that gridlock over there in the East. They're in the 8th spot. Literally, the record is tied with the 7th and 9th spot. They're half a game from getting out of the play-in. They're 2 games from being in the 5th seed. So this is everything for the Hornets. The Hornets team has been playing some of the best basketball since the calendar turned to 2026, as long as they've had that healthy starting 5 out there. So I kind of mentioned it yesterday. I want to roll with the teams who have more to play with, more to play for. And the Hornets can absolutely compete with this team. I think that they can win the game. So for that's my dog today, we're rolling with the Hornets. I got them +5. What I'm rocking with there. All right. No Veno today. Hopefully he can be back tomorrow. Chat, I appreciate y'all. Not feeling the best, but I still wanted to come on and just do a show for you guys because I rock with y'all, man. I get to go out and I meet people who watch the show, and they tell me they appreciate the show, and I help them out and all this stuff. And I don't want to leave y'all hanging, man. Y'all my people. So appreciate y'all. Best of luck, everybody, on all your action. And I'll catch y'all again tomorrow.